Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. A home for Best Village to educate and inspire more communities on the front burner. The Education Minister maintains his plans for the inclusion of extracurricular activities in schools, and Togo set to become a preferred tourism destination for visitors. Thank you for joining us. 50 years of cultural expression has been the result of the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition. Now, while the competition has advanced greatly since its inception, Best Village is set for some major developments in the coming months.
A Best Village Folk Art Learning and Resource Centre is expected to be developed under the Prime Minister's Best Village unit of the Ministry of Community Development. This was revealed by Minister of Community Development, the Honourable Winston Peters, at the media launch of the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy Competition's 50th anniversary celebration.
This facility will be a place that Best Village can call its own to house its archive and folk culture of Trinidad and Tobago. It will be a space to educate local and foreigners alike about our traditions and heritage through audio-visual material, literature, music, song, dance, folk culture, and authentic costumes. This center will help to inspire persons to become actively involved in learning indigenous art and transferring this knowledge to others in their community.
The vision of the Best Village competition is to empower communities through a sense of national pride, community spirit, community upliftment, and utilizing a healthy social approach and interaction. According to Program Coordinator for the competition, Ms. Gwendolyn Salick, the social approach comprises 8 competitive features and 1 non-competitive.
Traditions of Carnival, Village Olympics, National Handicraft, Clean and Beautify, Food and Folk Fair, Village Chat, Miss Laren Rivet, Folk Theatre, Folk Presentations, and Junior Best Village.
In 2011, the ministry engaged an external consultant to undertake an evaluation of the Best Village program so that it could be better enhanced and developed. Minister Peters listed a few of the recommendations to be acted upon.
We also plan to pursue other recommendations that includes increasing the staff of the Best Village unit, increasing national and international exposure for the competition, and developing and monitoring and reporting system to track the operations of the program.
The minister explained that information technology will be incorporated into the competition to better connect with the district staff and persons in communities. The ministry's Facebook and YouTube will also be used to reach a wider audience. Another plan of action for the Best Village Trophy competition is to ensure that all districts have appropriate venues that can be accessed by participants for rehearsals. A major highlight at the media launch was the unveiling of the special 50th anniversary logo.
Now that logo you're looking at there is the special 50th anniversary logo, which is an adaptation of the original logo of the 3 interlocking cottages that represent the unifying of communities through the competition. The commemorative 50 featured on the logo, proudly displayed in gold, represents the golden anniversary of this esteemed program. The 5 is made up of 3 persons, highlighting the people-centered focus of the Prime Minister's Best Village Trophy competition, also signifying that people and communities are at the heart of the Best Village.
A full schedule of activities to take place can be found on the Ministry of Community Development's website. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Togo is fast being pushed towards becoming a tourist destination. It comes ahead of 19-year-old Keyshawn Walcott's gold medal win in the javelin event at the London Olympic Games last year. Consultations on plans outlined for the area commenced as an interministerial team gathered in the remote village to discuss the plans that would benefit residents in the area. 6 months after Togo shot into fame following its own Keyshawn Walcott, bringing home an Olympic gold medal, plans to develop the area as a preferred choice for visitors have been outlined. Stakeholders met to discuss the way forward on the impact the plans will have on residents in the area. The initiative involves both the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Tourism. On hand for the talks was Transport Minister Chandra Sharma, who says the proposed changes have the potential to market Toco as more than just a tourist destination, but create permanent avenues for revenue generation for its residents.
Coming off Mr. Kishon Walcott, who has captured global attention. Toco is in the map of many countries of the world. That's why our maxi taxis from any part of this country and our public transport buses would be able to come. That's why TDC will be here. That's why every community group in this area can benefit from bread and breakfast to lunch, to providing lunches, to doing art and craft, a number of areas. So we wanted to share it with you. We wanted you to speak with us and tell us the way forward.
The Toco Lighthouse falls under the purview of the Transport Ministry under its Maritime Services Division. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mrs. Juliana Budram, says currently the area is visited by over 5,000 tourists annually. She adds that the plans entail the creation of a heritage site.
The improvement and the beautification works in the area. We also want, and we have agreed to the erection of a statue in the honor of Kishon Walcott, subject, of course, to his approval and at the appropriate site that we would agree upon. So this is where you as community persons will help us, and this is where it will be interactive. We are not going to sit down in any office in Port of Spain and decide that this is where the statute will be located or will be sited. You, the residents of the area, are the ones who will help us to say, this is the appropriate place, this is where we are going to cite the statute.
Resident of the area, Stephen McClashy, says he would like to see the construction of a stadium that will foster athletic talent in the region.
So we are saying, if the Wharton Estate and the Lighthouse area be developed along with the building of a stadium in the area in the name of Kishon, then we are sure that Kishon name will live on. We will produce much more Kishon Walcotts, and we can guarantee that this country will continue to be even more proud of the Toco area.
It's expected that a committee comprising of residents and other stakeholders will be set up to assist in the developmental plans. When we come back, the Education Minister reiterates the need for extracurricular activities in the nation's schools. Welcome back. The Ministry of Education has thrown its support behind the American Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago's 2013 Youth Forum. The forum, which will see secondary schools debating relevant topics to this country, has grown tremendously since its inception.
Education in Trinidad and Tobago is of vital importance to the government. Such sentiments were shared by Minister of Education, Dr. The Honorable Tim Gopi-Singh, as he fully endorsed the American Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago's latest education-based initiative.
We have demonstrated, however, that education of our children must be our nation's primary aim. And in keeping with that, we have contributed the largest percentage of our GDP in the past 3 budgets towards education, both myself and Minister Karim in tertiary education. We received this year close to $9.1 billion, close to 20% of our annual expenditure, and nearly 6% of our GDP, matching and surpassing expenditure on education in developed countries.
On Friday, Minister Gopi-Singh delivered the feature address at the AmCham media launch for the National Youth Productivity Forum 2013. The Honourable Minister says that the forum, which is in its 4th year, is an excellent platform to develop critical thinking, innovation and creativity among the nation's students. He says that he was impressed by the level of performance that was exhibited by the students in last year's forum, and he found it necessary to meet with AmCham to see the event grow with the Ministry of Education's assistance.
I'm also happy to publicly say here today that AmCham was quite open to my suggestion that the format of participation of students be changed so as to encompass all the 7 education districts in Trinidad and 1 in Tobago. I heard Hugh mention 6, and I know you will probably move to the 8 as fast as possible, so as to ensure that a wider sector of the students are reached by this very beneficial program.
The NYPF provides opportunities and guidance to secondary school students with particular emphasis on Forms 4 through 6 to identify and understand national and international issues which are relevant to the country's progress and development. This year's focus is on food security towards a more productive Trinidad and Tobago. The first rung was set to take place on January 9th, while the 6th and final rung would be held on February 28th. The University of Trinidad and Tobago has pledged its support and has allowed the use of 4 of its campuses for the debate, as well as incorporated elements of training in the art of critical and creative thinking, research, and presentation skills. The Ministry of Education will also be assisting financially, as well as in the timely coordinating of commitments from schools. In closing, the Honourable Minister had some advice for the nation's students during this carnival season.
To be safe and careful and be especially responsible in your day-to-day activities from now to the end of the carnival season and even beyond.
Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Meanwhile, the minister is reiterating the importance of extracurricular activities in schools. Dr. Gopi Singh expressed his belief while speaking at the launch of Atlantic LNG's Coaching Excellence Program. The program was launched at the Port of Spain Ballroom of the Hyatt Regency Trinidad.
Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh is commending Atlantic LNG for their new sporting initiative. The Atlantic Coaching Excellence, or ACE program, will target coaches from more than 250 primary schools and coaches from non-participating schools throughout the country. The ACE program will focus initially on cricket and football, but will expand later on to include athletics. Dr. Gopi Singh says this dovetails perfectly into his plan to push for the heavy inclusion of extracurricular activities in primary and secondary schools. He says the ACE program is a positive move in the right direction.
I have noted that as Minister of Education, we needed to continue to promote in our school system, especially and socially, the development of sports amongst our children. Many people have condemned me for making the statement of extracurricular activities, and what I needed to say that extracurricular activity needed to be managed properly, and this is one step in the direction of the management of sports in our schools.
The Education Minister explains his plan is one based upon sound research and proven results. He says children have a lot to gain from extracurricular activities.
Research shows that the positive impact of sports participation for children is overwhelming. All of us in this audience know that. It has the power to combat everything from aggression to low self-image, low self-esteem, low self-worth, to share the joy of success and to share the agony of defeat.
Minister Gopi Singh says the program will assist in developing coaches who can not only coach but also mentor, counsel, and consider the social welfare of those under their charge. These are the aspects of coaching which he says are critical to the holistic development and nurturing of young children. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
When we come back, Trinidad and Tobago's T20 cricket team gets a hat-trick. Stay with us. There are 11,400 Tobagonians living below the poverty line, and according to the MP for Tobago East, the Honourable Vanilla Allen Toppin, this is a problem the government intends to solve. Praise God from blessed.
A glimmer of hope as praises rang out from Mason Hall, Tobago by residents, led by the Minister in the Ministry of the People and Social Development, Vernella Allen-Toppin. For them, life has been a struggle to survive, but because of the People's Partnership Government, they can now look forward to brighter days with the TT food card and a number of other incentives.
The reason we sang that song is very simple. You cannot thank a politician, not this one, for anything that you get. You have to thank God. You have to thank God. Don't thank me. Don't think that I say, let me go to Tobago, everybody say yes. And I have found that a prophet is without honor in his own country. My mother used to say, when you're without honor at home, know that you are a prophet. So I went down to Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a very strange circumstance. I didn't expect it. But I said to myself, whatever happens to you, you must not murmur.
She says it is now up to this present administration to take the necessary steps to eradicate poverty on the island. Deputy Director of the Food Card Department, Jason Jack, was on hand to talk about the many services that were being offered by the Ministry of the People and Social Development.
We are also going to be delivering, distributing some permanent food cards and also some hampers and so on as well to the people of Tobago. All right. Again, the TT card program, as I always mention, it's not just about receiving the food support and the nutritional support for your families, but also about providing and working with you to develop yourselves, develop your families, so that you can be in a better position and more marketable to be more financially independent and more financially stable.
The program also offers developmental support. Mr. Gary Tagali, Director of the Poverty Reduction Program, says it's not only about having a food card.
Train them in a particular skill, employ them to generate income. That is what development is all about. So that people don't have to stay tied to a food card. They don't have to stay tied to a grant. And I'm not knocking my colleague. They have their role because people need food. That's the first thing that we need to deal when people are undergoing serious circumstances.
He says persons need to find their abilities to become self-sufficient and to fend for themselves.
Take that human dignity, not to be forever dependent on a grant. And that's what we're all about in this Ministry of the People and Social Development. Helping through grants, food card, and so on. Empowering, providing the opportunities for you to empower yourselves. We cannot empower you. You have to empower yourselves, and transforming.
Minister Allen-Toppin says she's optimistic that things on the island will change once the TOP wins the upcoming THA elections on January 21st, 2013. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.